Welcome into another episode of a Colorado Craft podcast by Mile High Bourbon and Rye. My name is Zach, and I am the host of the show. And it has been a minute since we have done a Colorado Craft podcast episode. If you are new to the show, this is a show where we talk all things Colorado Craft. I have interviewed many different people from many different professions and interests across Colorado. Plan to continue to do more. And I just like showcasing people who are creating and doing things in the state of Colorado because I love what is being produced in Colorado. Today we have kind of a shorter special episode. This one is focused around the bottle that I should be picking up tomorrow, March 14th, 2026, and that is the Talnua Distillery special release Old Saints Keep that comes out at St. Patrick's Day every single year. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you probably noticed that behind me are 5 bottles of Talnua whiskey. These are the last 5 releases of the Old Saints Keep, starting with the 2021, 2022, 23, 24, 25 releases, as well as I've got the 25 open actually right here. We're going to sip on a little bit of this as I bring this episode to you because I absolutely love this release every single year. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal whiskey, and I cannot wait to try this one because this is a very, very Colorado release, and I will get into that in just a minute. We'll also dive a little more into it come review time when I pick up that bottle because you know I will definitely be doing that. If you have not heard of Talnua before today, well, then I am glad that I get to be the one to introduce you because this is one of my absolute favorite locations in the state of Colorado to go visit after doing really anything or to make it a place to go visit. It's a right off of I-70 and Sheridan, I-76 and Sheridan, and in Arvada area. Ralston, I think Ralston and Sheridan is probably the best crossroads if you're familiar. Pop in there, and then you will find Talnua Distillery. They've got the big chunk of the building at the west end of the complex that they're in. This is a spot that opened up right before COVID and has been able to crank through really really well, and it's because of the not only the product that they make but the people that are there. So when I was doing this podcast for the first time and trying to kind of get my feet moving in it and start this off, which I'm still doing today, and it's been almost 10 years since I started this website. It's been more than 10 years. Oh my goodness, it has been more than 10 years. But either way, Patrick, one of the founders of Talnua Distillery, reached out to me because I had mentioned on an episode that my family's very Irish and I'm a big fit, like always wanted to go to Ireland, all of those things. There's a Gaelic Storm song where the lyric is, "I've never been to Ireland, but I know it's in my blood." That's me in a nutshell right there. But so he reaches out, he says, "Hey, we're doing this. We're doing a single pot still here in Colorado. This is going to be one of the first, if not the first, the first single pot still distillery in the U.S. right in my back door. So, of course, I have to come down and check them out, right? So, come in, meet with Patrick. Patrick is just this wealth of information right away. Automatically just wants to talk to you about Colorado whiskey, Irish whiskey, single pot still, what he's done to get into it. Their About Us page on Talnua's website at talnua.com/about. They talk about how Patrick and Megan, Megan being the other co-founder of Talnua Distillery and another brilliant and awesome person, they were in a pub on their honeymoon in 2011 watching the Ireland versus USA Rugby World Cup match. And this is all just, I'm basically reading verbatim off their site right now. They were speaking to a bartender who just was so anxious to talk about single pot still whiskey, and Patrick's the kind of guy that just absorbed that. Megan's the kind of person that just absorbed that. And so the two of them, instantly you've got this just huge love of this style of whiskey, and they bring that back to Colorado to start this company and absolutely crushed it. So Go learn some more about them on their website for sure. I'm not just going to do that. Better yet, go into the distillery and you might very well run into one of the two of them, and they are phenomenal people. If they're not, busy running one of the best distilleries ever, then they will have time to talk to you. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Now, let's move on to the Old Saints Keep, which the first release was 2020 and was a 2-year aged American single pot still bottle. This was this was the moment that I knew Talnua was just going to always be something absolutely spectacular and would continue to crank out terrific products. I'm gonna take a sip of this release because I like you get so much of the grain, you get so much of what it is, but the wood and the aging all come through, and it's all just done in a way that really lets the reason I think the Old Saints Keep does as well as it does is because it showcases everything that I believe Talnua is capable of. So take that for what it's worth. I think this is their best release year in and year out, and they have some excellent releases all of the time. The two, like I said, first release was a 2-year, going on to the 2021, which I actually don't have a review online, so you cannot read any of my thoughts on that one. But the 2021 is the next one that I have the bottle of. But 2022, it jumps up to a minimum 3 years old, finished in former bourbon and port casks, where it's then merged and then was finished, easy for me to say, in Pinot de Charente. I definitely did not say that properly. I am not a French speaking person. I don't do a French accent very well. I'm pretty sure French people would be very upset if I tried to do a French accent, so we're not going to try it too much. But Pinot de Charente cask from France is what that ends up getting finished in. And then they move on to the 2023, which was 3 years in American oak. And again, blend of that unmalted and malted barley, which is single pot still style. The 2024 being my personal favorite, minimum of 3 years in a mix of white oak, sherry, port, and amburana barrels, which was just such a fun and different release. And I think that's why I liked it so much, is because it was so strange, so different. Just not strange in a bad way. Strange as in like kind of exotic-y is I think the best way I can describe that. And then the 2025 release, which I'm currently sipping on now, was 2.5 years in New American Oak before spending an additional 2 years and 3 months in former Pedro Jimenez, 17-year-old Pedro Jimenez barrels, and PX Solera Brandy, 13-year PX Solera Brandy barrels. So you get a lot of those notes on this one. Those dessert wine finishes, which on the finish especially, you get a lot of that. But there's a nice, like, honey and dried fruit and everything that come through on this particular sip that I absolutely just cannot get enough of. I could sip on this all day. It is so it comes in at 100 proof, 50% ABV, which I think is a perfect spot. It doesn't I don't think that it needs any water at all. It just sips. It's very, very nice. This is easily in my top favorite bottles from, like I said, this release every year is in my top favorite bottles. And last year's continues that, excellent history of great releases. But really, what I'm looking forward to and why I wanted to do this short episode is I will do a review of the 2026. And if you want to read the 2025, I'll put that in show notes on YouTube and Spotify, which, as of recording this, Spotify is not actually showing any of my episodes. I hope to have that fixed. There's been a whole lot of things going on, but, it is what it is. We'll get that all resolved, right? But I'll put the link to the 2025 review. But what I said earlier and what I really wanted to focus on is this year is all truly a Colorado finished bottle. This, so what they've got on their site, and I'm just going to read this off for you here. The whiskey for this year's expression was aged for a minimum of 3 years in a number two char American white oak barrels, because it's more than one, then finished for 6 to 9 months in unique casks sourced from 6 Colorado distilleries, each contributing a distinct layer of character and complexity. And then here are the 6 barrels. They have it listed alphabetically, so that's how we'll go through. They took a barrel from Bear Creek Distillery with their rum cask. You know how much of a fan I am. If you've listened to anything or seen that, I am a huge Bear Creek fan. Those guys are fantastic, and that rum is excellent. Next, Deerhammer Distilling, the apple brandy cask. Deerhammer makes some of the most fun stuff. I still cannot get over their Cultura chocolate collaboration was fantastic. And I love going up to Buny to hang out in that area and stopping by Deerhammer to get a dram if I can. Then we have the Family Jones Distillery Rye Whiskey Cask. The Family Jones, I have not been down to visit yet. I have to go check them out, but I've tasted their products at a handful of different events, farmers markets, things like that. They really do take care and time in putting out a fantastic product, and their rye whiskey is excellent. Plenty of spice, but it's not something that overtakes you at all. It is phenomenally done. Next, we have Law's Whiskey House Wheat Whiskey Cask. The wheat whiskey bottled in bond from Laws was one of the first bottled in bonds, and maybe the first wheat bottled in bond. I have to go back and double check all that, but I've talked about it before. I've got a review of that one as well. I love their wheat whiskey. It is easily approachable. It's sweet, but not overly so. It stands up to like an ice cube or anything. And Laws is another one of those just absolutely amazing distillers here in the state of Colorado. Then we've got Spirit Hound Distillers and their single malt whiskey cask. Spirit Hound single malt, I have talked about many times, is one of my favorite single malts that I have ever had, hands down. Fantastic. They've got a couple of tasting rooms now in Lyons and one in Denver. The Denver room is gorgeous as well. I've only been in there once, but man, is it a cool spot. So go check them out and try that whiskey too, and be excited for the fact that it's a part of this blend. And then the last one, I have to send my apologies to Storm King Distilling. I haven't tried anything from Storm King. I have not seen a bottle in a store I've been into, albeit I have been on a hiatus, obviously, from doing this with health issues that I've touched on before, but we're not going to get into here. And it's their bourbon whiskey. So, really excited to see if I can tell anything that that cask adds because I haven't tried it, but more so, very interested to get a bottle of it and taste it, then go back and revisit this year's Old Saints Keep. As always, mash bill of 50% malted and 50% unmalted barley, triple distilled, minimum of 4 years and 100 proof. Only 1,200 bottles released, and on their website you can see info on all 6 of the distilleries that partnered with them on this particular release. And again, it's just, if you like Irish style whiskey, you will very much like Talnua's Old Saints Keep. I would say if you have ever enjoyed an Irish whiskey, you will love Talnua's Old Saints Keep. I would venture that guess. So be sure to go check that out. If you guys have already tried it, or if you're picking up your bottle, if you happen to see me at Talnua, say hi. I always like to say hi to folks. This is something that like I said, I always look forward to every single year. One of the best releases that there is, has been, will be, etc. Absolutely love it. So, like I said, let me know in the comments if you've tried it, what your thoughts are on it, what you enjoyed. If you were there, did you enjoy the party? Because they always throw one heck of a cool St. Patrick's Day party every single year, 2 days. Saturday the 14th is when hopefully I'll be able to hang out for a little bit and learn some more about this whiskey before I put up an official review and another episode as far as that goes. That's going to wrap this up for this particular episode of a Colorado Craft Podcast. I appreciate everybody who's hung out. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much on the hiatus, but I know I've been missing and not putting out as much recently. Going to try to remedy that, get back into it, work on maybe getting a couple guests on the show and everything as well. And also, do not forget, if you are still interested, we did put together a single barrel. I have got the 10th Mountain Distillery single barrel partnership with Paw Prints Pet Rescue. Here, we'll put it like that so that light's not quite so glary on it. But you see both of our logos on there with a donation, which the link will be in the show notes below. With a donation to Paw Prints Pet Rescue, we can get you one of these bottles if you're in the area. Just send me a message. Shoot me a message either on social media or email me, contact us at milehighbourbon.com, and we'll figure out how we can get you that, because we like helping pets, and Paw Prints Pet Rescue is doing an awesome job growing from there. So still some bottles available if you are interested. Get that donation in. Link for all that information will be in the show notes below. So again, thank you to everybody who continues to watch these, support these. I still enjoy the heck out of doing this. I still enjoy the heck out of a great Colorado whiskey, particularly a phenomenal Talnua bottle, and I cannot wait to add one more year of the Old Saints Keep to my Talnua collection. So we'll see you guys all on another episode of a Colorado Craft Podcast from Mile High Bourbon and Rye, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful dram. Cheers.